Hi, everybody. All right. I'm going to do a channeled message for humanity, and it's going to be a happy one. Because the last three have been a little bit on the dreary side, and I don't know why that is. But I'm ready for something a little bit more cheerful. So I'm just going to relax and then connect with spirit, and we'll see what they have to share. Okay, so I'm experiencing raindrops falling. They kind of create. So you have like a college dorm room, and then it has the hangy beads, and then you kind of can pull them to the side. So the raindrops are kind of coming down, and there's something of the essence of like hanging beads over a doorway. And like I could move the raindrops to the side if I choose to. But do you choose to move the raindrops to the side? Is what they ask. They're really into talking about the challenge of feeling emotionally aloof or emotionally deep, and challenge to blossom out of it and to choose to smile. Again, the message is still ringing the same. And they're showing me this raindrops as sort of the feeling of feeling down, feeling like the weather is cloudy in my emotional world. You have to choose then to see them as hangy beads and then just allow them to be pushed to the side and walk through the curtain of the emotional experience. Again, they say, but can you? Are you strong enough to move the raindrops aside and come through the doorway to see what is on the other side of the doorway? When it feels this bad, you have to keep trusting, okay? That on the other side of this is something good and beautiful, with open arms welcoming you, ready to share the sunlight and the gift of love with your soul. They're talking about traumatizing spiritual shifts taking place. Traumatizing shifts that are causing a great rift of struggle. And it can be very emotionally intolerable. And it can be very challenging, right? I have felt these. I too have these experiences as well. I am also part of the human ascension challenge. And it can be a nightmare at times. And sometimes you wonder what happened to me, because I was feeling really good, and now I just feel like I got bashed in the face with the brick wall of emotional nightmare. So what do? You acknowledge you're not feeling yourself, right? You acknowledge it really feels terrible. You acknowledge that it just feels like it's getting absolutely more terrible than I can even stand. And you have to keep trying, okay? You have to choose to find a means to connect with positive voices. Find a means to see that you're not alone. Find a means to gather the joy from deep within your soul and help it to come out. Because what these are is sort of like you have a splinter in your finger, right? And that owie is not going to go away until the splinter goes away. And it does not feel good, right? And it's bothersome and it stinks and I don't like it. But once the splinter is out, it's like, it's amazing how much better that feels without that splinter in there. So in the process of the energy poop, it's like the doo-doo energy is doing the super bubble, and it's coming out, and the burp is stuck, and it feels terrible, and it's like the energy poop is stuck, and you just need to like get the barf out. So sometimes it can take a week, sometimes it can take 2 weeks, sometimes it can take a month to get the energy barf out, for the splinter to come out. It's an energy shift. It's an energetic movement that is helping to release and purge out the old energy so that way you can radiate the new dazzling you that doesn't have the owie in your finger or the energy poop in your throat. You need to get that out of there. So again, another message about this. I have been under the weather, right? And part of being under the weather is you kind of feel under the weather too. And so for me, I haven't been sure if I've been feeling under the weather just because I've been sick. You know, this week I've got kids sick, and so it's like, is it ever going to end, you know? So it's kind of, you know, a lot of that just, it just is life, and life just happens, you know? But so for me, I have been feeling kind of down, and I really have, it just feels like I've been under the weather, not just sick under the weather, because I'm starting to feel totally fine again, but kind of emotionally under the weather too. And so this is really confirming the fact that I am on my 4th video now of just channeling something for humanity. I'm really trying to make it positive, I swear. And again, they are coming back to the same message about how to get through the sort of cloudy weather of the life moments. And they keep emphasizing this is some energy riff of December that may make us feel really boggy and really down and really aloof. And it's sort of interesting because where's the Merry Christmas in all of this? Where's the Happy New Year in all of this? Why does the energy poop? So there's something important about just hang in there, okay? And it'll get better, and it will cycle out, and the sun will shine again, and we'll make it, okay? So let's see what else they have to say about this. They're showing me a human being that is growing. They're showing me a human being that feels stiff first, so it's like they're on stilts for legs. Instead of human legs, they have stilt legs. And I see the stilt legs growing upward, and so they too are growing upwards. But in the process of growing upwards, they're also hitting clouds along the way and turbulence. And then their stilt legs are still stiff legs, and so it's really hard to bend at the knees. How are they going to bend down and pick up their morning newspaper? And their heads in the clouds. And they're starting to feel like completely off balance, completely aloof, and they are no longer themselves anymore, and they don't even know where they are. That is what they're showing me. So what do we do when this happens, they say? We'll get you a new pair of legs. That's literally what they're saying. We're going to shrink you down, and we're going to get you a new pair of legs so then you can walk steady again, firm on the ground. There's something silly about it. They're showing me literally a man that is made out of wood, and he grew really tall into the clouds, and started to wobble because he can't even see his feet anymore. He's so high up and the head in the clouds, and he's completely off balance, and he's no longer feeling human anymore. He does not even feel like a human being anymore. He feels like a doll or a puppet or a wooden man. And so they're showing me him shrinking down to a normal-sized man, although he still looks like he's made out of wood. But he's starting to kind of grasp that where his legs are at and where he's at, and he can see the ground again. And he's starting to become a real boy. Like, it's like looking at a Pinocchio that is starting to turn into a real person. And in the process of becoming a real human being from what was a distorted human being is very hard. They're talking about us even waking up, like feeling like we are a wooden puppet, now waking up to being a real person. We thought we were a real person all along, although all along we were actually a wooden puppet. And it's hard to go from a wooden puppet to a real human being. It is very hard, and it is painful, and it can be traumatizing, and it can feel like you are suffering. It feels like you are so confused and lost. You cannot figure out where your feet are in all of this, and your head feels like it is all cloudy, and it is overwhelming. That's what they're saying. They say it is okay to stumble and fall sometimes. It is okay. They're emphasizing this again. I mean, these December messages have been very consistently very deep and challenging, and kind of sort of focusing on the emotional despair, the emotional instability. And again, I too have been feeling gloomy, but I also haven't been feeling healthy, right? I mean, and so I thought that maybe that was kind of part of the gloomy character, but I must not be the only one in these shoes. I mean, there must be a lot of other people also feeling vulnerable this month, emotionally vulnerable this month. And again, they're saying that it is okay to stumble and fall sometimes. Nobody wants to stumble and fall, but sometimes it happens, and it's okay to stumble and fall. They're emphasizing, pounding it in, that when you feel rocky, when you feel shaky, when you feel emotionally distraught, when you feel like you can't take it anymore, just know it's a stumble moment. It's a super stumble moment, and you're totally loved, you're totally taken care of, and you're going to get through this thing. So just allow the stumble moment to happen. Have your emotional outburst in public, fall off the hinges, if that's what it needs to transform from a wooden puppet to a real human being. It's hard. It's very hard. And we understand that, is their message. And nobody has left you behind, and nobody is in the spirit realm, our alien friends. We all are here, and we all understand that it is hard, and you're the superhero, you're the champion. You can do this thing, and you will do this thing. You're going to make it, and you're going to be okay. And in the process, it's going to feel kind of gloomy sometimes, but you're going to be okay. That's what they say. They ask me, they say, are you going to be okay, Abby? And I say, yeah, I'm going to be okay. I want my life to feel like normal again, because it hasn't. It's like, here's Thanksgiving. You get stress over this time, right? Here is coming down with the most insane flu experience of my entire life. That I had meningitis or something crazy. And there was nothing. There's no medicine you get to take when you have the flu. It wasn't right. And here's now this week. I'm ready to get back in the swing of things. Kids now falling off the healthy hinges. What am I going to do? It feels like it just is not going to get normal again. And we have Christmas on the horizon and a birthday coming up, So it's like life happens. Life happens. And so for me, it's just been feeling like, oh my God, can I please just get a break? I want to be doing this work. I want to be touching people's lives. And so I have to accept sometimes too that I go through these weird, ups and downs and roller coaster rides. And my emotional state has not been awesome. It hasn't been awesome, but I also, been juggling a lot of life, and sometimes life doesn't feel awesome. So for me, it has been, frustrating. And I have been going through some other energy shifts too, where just examining basically what can only be described as the feelings of the nightmare past lives that we all, you share messages of love in past lives, and then what do you get in return? You get the sword to the heart, you get, the 10 gunmen's and your head blown off, you get hung, you get put on the stake and burned alive. There's all kinds of different ways you can die for speaking out and being a voice of love. And during a time when things were shifting and people were starting to change their ways, and it was becoming more of a world of fear and terror and nightmare. And don't be that person. Don't be spiritually aware. Don't be a witch, don't be somebody who works with Mother Earth and creates herbal medicines that heal people. Don't do those things. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, so I too have these very severe rumbling moments where I feel I don't always recall, I don't always know what the past life specifically was about, but I feel it, and it feels it when it comes through me. I actually experience what could be feeling depressed, and then could be moving into feeling just kind of like you just feel down, you just feel kind of sluggish and down and just really deeper and kind of in darker thoughts, right? And then as those kind of come through, you start to feel some terror energies where it's just you feel really scared and freaked out for no reason at all. And then you start wondering about, your position in life. And here I'm making videos and I'm doing things to help humanity. But now I'm sort of also dealing with these disagreeable past life memories of being tortured and murdered and ripped apart and burned at the stake and everything else for being this person in a past life. So now I get to kind of re-experience it. Not, I re-experience the terror energy, but I don't obviously re-experience the death itself. But it doesn't feel warm and fuzzy. It does not feel warm and cozy. It doesn't make me want to, smile by any means. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. And so I too have to be patient. And sometimes it could take a week. And this has been happening to me all since June. I mean, this has been happening to me for months. And sometimes it is so derailing that I just want to sleep it off, But you have to keep going. You have to keep ticking through it, and you will, just like I will. So, and sometimes it is very hard. Sometimes it is very hard. So you're not a lone sailor here. You're not the only one wondering if you've lost your mind or not. It's part of becoming a real boy and a real girl. It's part of that. So let's see what else they say. They're talking about energy techniques. They're talking about... Okay. Let me just watch the pictures for a minute. They were talking about energy techniques, literally spiritual healing energy like I do, where I can enter into spiritual atmosphere and then help kind of spiral out that. Take negative energy, turn it into positive energy. Take your frown and turn it upside down. See, that's what it is. But as I'm experiencing this spiritual healing energy message, they shift into what is kind of a psycho moment. We have a doll and some pins and needles, and we're stabbing it, die! That's kind of what the image is like. The problem here is this is another human being stabbing the needles into other human beings. So what is that? It's sort of like, that is my enemy. Now I have a doll of my enemy and I'm stabbing needles into them and torturing them and making their life miserable. Human beings are still doing this to each other, is what they're saying. Human beings are still wanting to pick up the doll and take the needles and make other people's lives miserable. Human beings are also inspiring the raindrops of our lives, where we have to somehow still find a way to say, hey, thanks for the cloudy day, you're a real piece of work, and be the bigger person and come through the beady thing and find our way into the light again. They're saying ascension isn't just a part of releasing the old energies, past life energies growing. It's also about these types of life experiences. We're all learning and growing in different ways, and we're all transforming and making choices of all different various kinds, still having to come through the other side and keep choosing love no matter what, because love is the voice that is helping us to ascend in the first place. you have to choose love. They say when you choose love, love evaporates the psycho doll with the pins and needles. Love evaporates the evil faces that are making our lives miserable. Love evaporates the energetic nightmares that people endure. Love evaporates the terror. Love evaporates all things. Because love is all there is. Anything else is an illusion. I had this moment where I was contemplating all of this, and I was thinking about life, the reality. So in reality, you get to choose, and then you manifest your future, right? You manifest it through choosing to think positively or think negatively. And so you got to keep thinking positively no matter what, and keep putting one foot in front of the other in order to manifest a beautiful reality. So one thing I think about with all this is dreams. Sometimes you have dreams and you feel like the dream is in control and you're just sort of at the will of whatever you dream about, right? And then sometimes you'll have a dream where you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm dreaming. I can do whatever I want now. So when is the moment when we human beings choose to acknowledge that this world is far more like a dream, and we have more power and more control in what we manifest than when we choose to feel like the world is in control of us, now we are the ones experiencing just the dream that is whatever it wants to be, and it can turn into a nightmare if it wants to be. But when you wake up in the dream and now you have infinite power, that too is what it is like to wake up here in this reality. You wake up to your infinite power. This reality is far more like a dream and a world that we can manifest our desires here, as long as they're pure in intention. I mean, if your desire is to ruin somebody's life, like that's not very cool. Quit being the raindrops. Stop it. Quit being the weird person with the needles and the freaky doll. You're clouding up our worlds. Start being the nice person. So we just got to keep thinking positively. And we got to keep loving, and we got to keep helping each other out. And if your friend is saying, I'm not feeling right, I'm getting messed up, and I don't know what's wrong with me, take it seriously and please go help your friend, because we got to be there for each other, okay? And these images of closing people out and the family members, like the December forecast, do not let the happy family members in. It's like, is that really smart? I mean, but the experience, I get it. When we get emotionally deep and down, we need to go inward, and we need to understand, and we need to feel, and we need to be thinking and contemplating, and we need to be pushing out the energy poop. But sometimes it really does help to have a friend, and it really does help to have family who loves you, and it helps to have a hug, and it just helps. It really does. It helps to have a video where you're not the only one and you're not losing your mind. It helps to laugh, and it helps to find the warmth and the love within your heart, and to keep walking one foot in front of the other, because you can do this thing. They say part of waking up can be very hard, because part of waking up too is self-discovery. Self-discovery that comes through energetic fluctuations that inspire us to look at the world differently. If you never saw how disturbing, for example, I find that very disturbing that people think that torture movies are entertaining. I find that very disturbing. When are human beings going to wake up and actually acknowledge how disturbing that is? What type of human being wakes up to discover how disturbing that is? That human being has more love within their heart because they are contemplating the value of love and treating others with love and respect and seeing love as entertainment and not seeing torture as entertainment. There's something to this. I mean, I have nothing against what people choose, but Awakening is kind of like that. It's kind of like, I thought the torture movies were kind of cool, but I'm starting to think it's kind of disturbing. And now I'm not really sure who I am anymore, and I don't really know what to do with this, and I'm kind of having a freak out because this world was tolerable, and now this world isn't tolerable, and I'm living in this cesspool of psycho, weird, freaky world, and it's freaking me out, and I don't really know what to do about that. That can be an awakening experience, can be coming to your senses to see how truly disturbing this world actually is. And now what are you going to do about it? Truly waking up and asking questions about why is the world turning like it is? Why are we supporting what we support? How do we change that? How do we make it a better world for our children? Because guess what? I do not want my kids to be adults in a world that looks like this. I don't. And I don't want my grandkids, and I don't want their grandkids. I just can't tolerate it. Kids need to be smiling, and kids need to stay smiling as adults too, because that's what I want for my kids, and that's what I want for every child on this planet and every adult on this planet, because it's time for us to be smiling already. Feels like a long time coming, because it has been. All right, I'm just going to share this message for now. Obviously, I need to continue to make messages on this subject matter. It's obviously what I'm meant to be doing right now, so I guess it's the right topic and the right conversation. So I hope this message has been helping you, and I just keep smiling and we'll make it through this thing. All right. So thank you for watching my video. If you're interested in visiting with me one-on-one, I do share spiritual healing and psychic wisdom at my website at abbynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you for watching.